Okay, let's get this thing started. Paranormal to the night on the Late Late Horror Show trivia, and if you want to jump on and tell a story, please feel free to do so. I'll put up the Late Late Horror Show intro just because. Yeah, you know.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey, everybody, welcome to Paranormal into the Night on the Late Late Horror Show, or vice versa, whatever you want. It's all fun and games. Last minute cancellation from the guest, which is fine. We haven't done any trivia in a long time, so I'm going to do that. But I'm hoping more so than that I can get some people to come on and share their stories with us. I will put the link in the chat, and if you want to join on, you don't need to show video or nothing like that. It could just be audio. And share any experiences you have, ghost stories, anything that's weird, out of the ordinary, uh, like Art Bell used to do. Losing your mind line, was there a time or a moment when you lost your mind? Hey, anything weird. If you got a somewhat scary or paranormal story to talk about, then jump on. I will get the link here. And Dennis RTN has given a story already, so there will be that as the dog barks as usual. But hello, Ginger, Tracy, RTN, Connie, CM, Edward, Stewart. What's going on, Bubba? Hey, Bubba, Sinjin. What is going on, WWM? Chris W. Sam Barker, Vicky Elkhorn, wee-hoo, she says. As RTN said, give us a woo-hoo. So there you go. Let's see. Anybody else? Sinjin, I think I said. The story would be good spending that time in that haunted castle, I think you said. But yeah, something would have had to have happened for sure. PWI, Spiritual Investigators. What is going on? Good to see you here. Steve Paluk. Steve, hey, from Tampa, Florida. I'm not going to give it a shot. Anyways, you know what? I've got to revamp this whole Coffin crew. What's up? Nice to see you. Tokar, good to see you. Yeah, good to see the new people in here. Good to see the ones we don't see on an everyday basis. Rich Cat Ranch. Hi, Dino at the Late Late Horror Show. Again, I'm going to drop the link in there after I read RTN's story. And if you want to pop on and tell me your story, if you got something, then please do. Do not feel scared or anything about jumping on. If you got a spooky or a paranormal story, I've got a spooky story I got from my childhood that I'm going to talk about. It's not so much paranormal as it is spooky and scary, and it was another strange thing that happened in the vast array of things that happened during that little stretch when I was a kid and my grandparents were alive and a lot of stuff happened. But definitely gonna talk about that. It was a scary situation. But anyways, I got to revamp this whole paranormal to the night thing. I've got the Late Late Horror Show down there. I got to get a new background. I got to get a new paranormal intro for the show, and I've got to take this damn thing serious. No, I do. I always do. I take everything serious. But I do have guests lined up coming up this next month. That should be very interesting. So stay tuned for that. What's this? Hello to all, saying hello to me, not chasing the chat. Yeah. The chat goes pretty quick at first, then it slows up, but it's definitely good to have you guys. I am going to drop the link right now. If you guys want to join, okay, feel free to pop in the chat. You'll be waiting, but I will get to you and call you. If you can, please, if you want to tell a story, it will only be audio. You don't have to, you can put a video on if you want, but please share it with us. That's what I'd like the show to end up being. I mean, it's all about you guys and your experiences, real people, right? It's always good to have experts and authors and stuff like that to tell their stories and their research and stuff like that. But there is the link. I just put it there if you want to join. Um, so yeah. So first of all, and we will try to get in trivia because I'm sure we're not going to get a lot of people jumping on. We may not get anybody jumping on, but I do got a story from RTN Dennis, and boy, the power did go out last night. Nothing's ever perfect on YouTube, and cut off, I think, around 5 hours into it. And luckily, I was up. Well, I woke up for some reason, and I started it back up. So you guys got kind of a part two for the morning coffee. So there you go. Put that all up for that. So I did get the two streams in there for sure. But yeah, I think Rich Cat, didn't you say you had a paranormal story to tell? But if you do, hit that link. Again, I'll drop it again. I'll keep dropping it until somebody jumps on. But again, we'll get to trivia. It will be trivia about Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Please go ahead, check out all the links on the channel. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification. The memberships are working again, gifting memberships. If you feel so whatever to do so. That's pretty cool. I do want to say that yesterday, as we welcome Tracy back to the chat, uh, things really sped up yesterday, and I loved the beginning of the show last night, the overnight old time radio stream. Everybody was just, there were some super chats, there was some gifting. Heck, we've got Cosmic Squirrel is now a channel member. Please check out the movie nights every Friday. Again, if you're a Patreon or a channel subscriber, you get movie nights every Friday. And I am doing this party very, very soon where we all get together and just hang out. Chad Farr joined. Alexander MacDougall was gifted, I do believe. This was all from last night. Zardoz leveled up. Peter Wernicki joined. Thank you. And the night before, we got John St. Pierre. I'm not going to go through the whole list of all the channel members, but I do appreciate all of that. I appreciate all the gifting and everything you guys do and all that. It's really, really cool. Cam's Crash Courses. What did I miss? Let's see. I missed something. I got to go back there. At the Late Horror Show, Dino, thanks for everything. RTN, hi, glad you're also okay. 6 weeks. Okay, yeah, no. Is there other people? If I miss it, Fury Phoenix is here. What is going on? It's been a while, buddy. Good to see you. Sometimes these people get lost for a while and then work their way back. So it's always good to see Donner Pass Whiskey. What's going on? One more time, here's the link, and then I'm going to read RTN's story, Dennis. Denny, right before the show, sent me a story of 2 UFO sightings that he has had over the span of 30 years. So, like he said, there's more to come. Donovan, I love watching the movies on acid. It really gives me a great sense of distorted reality, which is so cool. Donovan, whatever works, bud. Whatever works. No, Ginger, not tonight. I'm not going back there. It's going to fall on me. The Beetlejuice sign. Oh, here we go. Some wanted to see this. Yeah, look at that. Listen to that sound. It's like a UFO landing. Like, oh, you gotta love the popcorn gun from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. One of the all-time greats. B movies of the 80s. Okay, so here we go. Let's get to Dennis. Let's get to RTN's story. And again, if you want to join, I knew nobody would join, but it's all good. There's the link. PW Paranormal Investigators, get on. There's the link for Restream. If you want to get on and talk to me and let me know, so you're an investigator, pop on that link. You can just come on in audio. You don't have to put your video up unless you want to. But that link, click it, join. Tell me some of your stories. I'd love to hear it. That's what Paranormal to the Night's all about. Everybody's sharing their experiences. Okay, so RTN. He says, and thank you again, Dennis. He says, I've actually seen 2 UFOs. The sightings were about 30 years apart. The first one was when I was in 6th or 7th grade, about sundown. I saw it as I was walking home from a friend's house on a summer evening. Write any books lately, Dennis? No. This one was a silver spherical object moving very fast across a clear sky. The second was a much more dramatic sighting. I saw it very early in the morning in March 2003. I was standing on the front porch of my parents' house in Beech Grove, Indiana, about 3 in the morning. So late, nighttime. My parents' house was located about 3 blocks from an Amtrak repair facility at the edge of town. I was standing on the porch having a smoke when I observed these strange neon-colored lights in the sky coming up from the south. They appeared to be following the I-65 highway up toward town. The best way to describe the lights is to say they looked like that old Simon game. Oh, we all know the Simon game. Yes. And I lost my place. This is too small of print. Was the Simon game. If you remember that, yes, I do. I watched this triangular shaped spacecraft approach the railroad yard, growing larger and larger as it got closer, and larger, he says. By the time it was over the railroad yard, I could see the thing was absolutely enormous. And you know what? Lots of similar sightings. And this was a long time ago. Unless that was that the newer one? Anyways, larger than any aircraft you or anyone else has ever seen. The craft moved very slowly and turned west to fly over my parents' house. When it silently flew over, it completely blocked out any sign of the clear night sky. Seriously, all I could see was the gigantic triangular shape with the subdued neon colors glowing on the underside. It continued on to the west, and I stood watching it as I slowly moved out of my field of vision. The entire incident lasted for a good 20 to 30 minutes. I had plenty of time to watch. I didn't have a cell phone. Oh, very cool. It looks like somebody might have tried to come on with me. Okay, there you go. PWI. Okay, you hold on right there, and I will get you on here, Sherry, to talk. And as soon as I'm done with this, I will put you on. And thank you. I can't wait to hear your stories. So, lasted 20 to 30 minutes. I had plenty of time to watch it. I didn't have a cell phone at the time. We had a VHS camcorder, which I thought about going inside to get. But then I thought, sure as the world, if I go in to get the camera, the thing vanishes before I get back. I can't overemphasize how large this craft appeared. It was easily a good half-mile in length from end to end. Holy Moses. But you know what? That's kind of the way it goes, with these large triangular objects. The Phoenix Lights incident. Anyways, I thought about going inside. Okay, from an end, it's kind of pulsated in the sky, much like you see coming off hot blacktop in the sun. The other thing that stands out in my memory is that all the while as I observed it, I never forgot a moment, felt like I was watching an alien spacecraft. I just had a feeling that I was seeing what I was seeing was a military craft I wasn't supposed to be seeing. Oh, and the other funny memory of this, as soon as the craft left my field of vision, I suddenly realized just how damn cold it was out on the porch that morning and went indoors to stand on the furnace register to warm up. Okay, so there's my big claim to paranormal fame. Thanks for reading, RTN, aka Denny, aka the wise ass from the chat room. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Dennis, it's awesome. Thanks for sharing that story with me and everybody in the chat. Yeah, you know what? Lots and lots of stories just like that. Those gigantic triangular objects, and going on 40, 50 years now. I mean, geez, it's been a long time. But anyways, you know what? PWI Paranormal 72nd Human. We're all going to the World's Fair. Well, you know, hey, maybe some. Let me bring you on, Sherry. How are you doing? Let's hope I can
I'm
hear
fine,
you.
thank you very much. How are you?
Oh, very, very well. Very, very well. Thank you for popping in here. And
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly. Yes, you are totally 100% fine. So, yeah, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I definitely see somebody who's a paranormal investigator, and I want to have them in here to talk to me and let me know what kind of experiences you've had and what you've dealt with in the field. And first of all, go ahead and plug your paranormal channel or whatever you do there. You there, Sherry? Sherry?
Yeah, I'm there. It's just your sound, and you're cut. I only hear bits of you, and then you're gone.
Okay, well, it could be the internet. But if you can, you hear me good now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. Okay, okay. Well, hopefully this works. I was going to say, go ahead and let us know your channel there. I would like to take a look at it. Tell me what you guys do and all that.
Okay, so
Yep.
I'm a
Okay.
PWI, and PWI as spiritual investigators. I'm also PWI otherly investigations as well. I work in the lines of anything to do with the paranormal, so spirits or anything like that. I do with UFOs and crypto. So I've been in the field for over 20 years. I do have abilities. I have had abilities since I was young. And what sort of experience you want to hear? I could tell you the one about a cleansing and that I'd done from somebody's house, that negative energy, and what happened to me there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, your audio isn't the best, but we'll make do with it. Maybe in the future, I could have you on too, and with if you fix the audio issue, and we can have you on for a longer time. But yeah, we'll try our best to get to this story and see what and hopefully everybody can hear it okay. But go ahead. That sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've been in the field for 20 years now. I had this person that I was friends with that was having some. She at the time had a 5-year-old daughter that was being affected by a spirit that you would know as being demonic. And there'd been quite a few things going on at the house where the daughter was being affected. She was feeding this spirit her food and stuff, not realizing what it was, because it was showing her as like a friendly dog or a friendly animal. So she would feed it and stuff like that. And it made the spirit grow even stronger, and it started to affect the whole family, her and her daughter. The partner for some reason wasn't really picking up on the spirit, but they were. And there was quite a few very disturbing things happening, to the point even my time that was going through this actually being, the spirit was trying to possess her. It was trying to, I needed to go up there to help her. Now, just before I'd gone up for the investigation and everything, there'd been a few times where she'd been on my live panel, and one evening I experienced being attacked. Now, at first, it was just like a couple of little marks on my neck, and didn't really think anything of it. And I was on a live show with one of my other friends on Messenger, and she was sitting there. She goes, "What's that coming up on your neck, Sherry?" I said, "What you want?" She goes, "There's upside down crosses on your neck." And literally, there was upside down that were carved into my neck. And she goes, "Where the hell's that come from?" I said, "It's got to be that energy that was at Vanessa's house. This is my friend," and it made me quite ill. But I still was very determined to go down there and do the exorcism and stuff of the house and stuff. Literally, the investigation itself was over 14 hours long. We read of 3 negative energies in the house. There were trapped spirits that were good as well that we had to help. And I had to do cleansings and blessings over the daughter and over the mum because they were being affected very badly. In through this, the attack to my neck got even worse. It became infected to the point that I had a whole collar, like a vicar's collar, all just of flesh. All my skin had been ripped off my neck. It was just flesh and blood, and you could no longer see the upside down crosses or anything like on my neck. I got very, very sick, and I remember being
And this happened there that
in
night?
a chemist. Pardon?
This happened there that night? Like the wound started getting worse?
Before I went up for the investigation, I'd been attacked and the crosses were put on my neck. I went up there several weeks later to help with the situation. While being there, I was attacked. There was bruises, bites, came very red. As the weeks went on, because I stayed with them for quite a number of weeks to make as it got worse, and it became infected to the point that you could see the flesh to my neck and line where you can actually see what happened to my neck. And
Gotcha.
I was there and stuff. When it's getting really bad, it looks like it's getting infected. It would weep. It would the blood would come out of the neck. I remember going home and for a few weeks just not feeling very well at all and saying I don't feel right, something's wrong. I went to the chemist to see if I could get any advice on what might be going on and how I could calm the down. I nearly collapsed. I was sent home where I got worse, and a friend of mine noticed that my back of my head, so they had to get an ambulance to come out to get to me, and I almost died from the attack from the demonic spirit. I almost died. I was on the cusp of I had blood poisoning and it was turning into septicemia. If I hadn't have gone to hospital when I did, I would not be here now to tell you the story.
Oh, geez. So do you think it was a possession, or do you think just you were attacked so fiercely that the wound itself became sepsis and made you
Where
as
I'd
sick as
been,
it
I
did?
wasn't. At the time when I was going the cleansing of the house, there was a thing where I'd done with a star in it. Okay, so I'd done this to be able to trap the spirit to get rid of it. As I've come out of the loft to my investigators, I've landed inside the star because this spirit was coming down on the top of me. I did become possessed. I was possessed. I had to have the cross put on my head. They had to summon this spirit out. So I do think it entering my body as well caused some of this to happen. But after getting rid of it, it still continued to affect me and make me very sick to the point that I had to go to hospital, and I almost died. I had to have like 5 or 6 different drips and stuff like that. I wasn't allowed to go home without my mum being there after me. I was able to because of how this ended. So, and people have said to me, "Why did you never give the paranormal up after that happening to you?" To be honest with me, I believe that through having that experience, it made me want to understand these energies more, because I have respect for both good and bad. Okay,
Right.
that's how I've been brought up. That's how And
Mhm.
I didn't look at it in a critical way. I looked at it in a way that this happened. There is reasons to why these things happen. So now I really do base my investigations a lot on trying to determine why spirits act the way they act and why all spirits are different and things like that. It was a very
Mhm.
scary experience, and it did draw very close to giving up. But in the end, it didn't. It made me go the other way to the point that I actually wanted. I wanted to dive into it more. I have
Yeah.
recently, but there's supposed to be something else that's meant to be in her house now. Been put in there by somebody that's done witchcraft on her, and then she's wanting me to go back, which I'm a little bit.
Okay.
I'm like, do I do want
A
to?
little bit
Because
scared to.
before,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
No, I get you. I get you. And thank you, Tracy Asteria, for putting the links for you can join the Patreon or the channel membership. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh
And
yeah,
there you are,
definitely,
Sherry.
definitely got guts.
You know what? You, for some reason, you sound a little bit better now. Let's hope that continues. I was going to say the
Maybe it was the
audio.
camera being off.
I think that's exactly
Yeah,
what
no,
it
it
was.
was really very
Oh,
interesting. That's an awesome story. Can't imagine how it was. It was very scary, and you do like with this sort of work, you really do need to know what you're doing. And I did know what I was doing. It was just the simple fact that not a lot of detail or truth was given to me at the time. So when I went there, I picked up on what I picked up on stuff, but they kept things from me. And after that happening to me, and obviously my spirit guide, they'd done more things. I said, "You played with a Ouija board." That she's just told me that you've been playing with a Ouija
mhm.
boards, and that's when they admitted to what had been going on. And I said, "But that's half hacked to me because I was going up there for another
Okay.
reason, trying to get rid of it for another reason because she hadn't been honest with me." So that's why it took longer to get rid of it as well, because then we had to redo the cleansings and everything else because it was something else. I did get rid of the energy, and it was only me that went
Okay.
into the loft. It was only me that
Hmm.
fighted the spirit off and got rid of the spirit, but I had the other investigators there. And I think that if they weren't, I think something really bad could have happened to the family, because when I got possessed,
Yeah.
apparently I
Okay.
wasn't a very nice person. I was talking in tongue. I lifted a guy that was 4 times the size of me off the ground.
Well, can I stop you and let's talk about the actual case itself. You said they didn't tell you everything. Was it just pretty much the Ouija board that they didn't tell you about, or was there other stuff that was going on that
No,
was?
Vanessa had experiences from very young with spirits and stuff, and there was an occasion where her brother and one of their cousins had gone up to this location and took a Ouija board,
Okay.
and they decided to play with it. So this energy had been attached to her, even though it stayed attached to her because she had a lot of health problems and stuff. So this energy become attached to Vanessa. Now, over time, at first it started off really nice. She didn't think it was anything bad. She didn't think anything bad was going on. But as time went on, it got
Mhm.
worse and worse, and the spirit become even more possessive. Okay. And that's when she started to
Okay.
realize that this energy wasn't what she thought it was. And she'd obviously lost loved ones. And through that, this spirit had betrayed to be in a loved one. And it wasn't a loved one. It was the energy from this Ouija board. So obviously when I went up there, I picked
Mm.
up on certain things because of having my abilities. I said, something with witchcraft's been done. I then found out that her stepmom was a witch, a black witch with Vanessa, and had done stuff to Vanessa and her family in that house. So from that's what I was working on, because she never told me about the Ouija board at the time. She just told me about what her stepmom had done. It's only
So
after me
so
going up there and doing the first cleansing and that, and me being
yeah,
attacked,
yeah,
and me
yeah.
then being able to pick up that she weren't telling me the full story of what I picked up on
Right,
the Ouija board. Said you played with boards, didn't you, in the
right,
past?
right.
I read them. My brothers and my cousin done it years back.
Yeah. So you went in unprepared because they didn't tell you everything, but uh, the Ouija board
Oh,
itself,
I had everything
you're
there. I had everything to get. I had everything to get rid of it. It's not that I wasn't prepared. It's the fact that she did not
no, no,
tell the
I
truth.
got
This
you.
is what I say to any of my clients. You always have to be openly honest about everything that is happening to you, because even
Right.
as a spiritual person that can see things, we can't see everything. And if you're not honest, you can put danger, and that's what happened that day. Me in danger for not telling. If
Right.
she'd have told the truth, none of that would have happened.
But,
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, my point being that the Ouija board technically really just brought out some evil spirits, right? The entities that
yeah,
actually
well, that is the
attacked you.
theory behind them. Yeah, exactly
So
that,
that's
and the fact that her stepmother had put some pretty nasty curse stuff over her, which is what I had to go up there to
okay.
sort
So,
out. That was
okay.
what I was originally going up there for in the first place, was that. So I'd
Okay.
been attacked and stuff had happened, that I started picking a Ouija board, and that it was more than that. And that's when she admitted that there wasn't a Ouija board played
Did
with when she was younger.
did you find out like who the main entity or spirit that was that did that to you? I mean, because you said you got rid of 3, right? And were there
Yeah,
more
there
than
was two.
3
There was
that
two
you?
that you would class as a low case demon. So they're just
Okay.
like, they're not really powerful, but they are powerful. They could still do you damage. Those ones were just there and lurking around and just causing misery in the house. But there was the main one that there, which would be known as a duke. There was a duke demon in the house that we had to get rid of, and that's the one that attacked me. That was the one that was not happy
And,
about
and,
me
and
being there and didn't want me to be there.
and what kind of demon is that?
And for
Can you explain a little?
personal reasons, I will not say, because I don't want to be
Okay,
bringing him back to me. I will not say his name, because that is just
that's
out of
fine.
safety. And that if you say
Yeah.
something, you're manifesting him again, which will bring him back. It could bring him back.
Right,
So
right.
I will not say his name,
Okay.
but he's a class demon and a very good one.
Okay. Any way of saying like where he came from, like where, like this wasn't an earthbound spirit that used to be a human
No, he
being,
wasn't an
or
earthbound spirit. Not at all. He's never
he
been
was
of
he
the
was a
living.
true
He's never been out of
a
the
true
living, and
demon.
he's from the darker side.
Okay,
He's like from
got,
the blood. He's actually
gotcha.
been summoned. He was summoned from the pits to come and do whatever with Vanessa.
Okay. You dealing with this? How many years have you been doing this? May I ask?
Over 20 years. Over 20
Over
years.
20 years. Okay. Are you new to my
Mhm.
channel? You just came across the paranormal stream?
This is the first time I've actually been in it, because I actually know Coffin Crew, and he said to me that he see you live and he said you should go over and watch this channel and that. So I came over, and you seem
Awesome.
like a pretty cool channel. So I thought I'd come up and tell my story.
No, there you go. No, Coffin Crew's in here every now and then, over the past year or so. I mean, I do see him. But yeah, I was curious about you. We do a whole lot of stuff on this channel. Thursday nights are supposed to be dedicated to the paranormal and to the night. I've done that for 7 years, technically. Interviewed a lot of interesting people. And the one thing I've always wanted to get was a true witch to have on the show and talk to, which we could do that on a separate day if you're up to it. I would love to have you on to
Of
just
course.
talk,
Of course.
just to talk about the
I am
cult.
what I am what yeah, I am what you call a natural witch. I have not been under a school or anything like that. I believe in doing everything naturally. I do believe in some
Mhm.
pagan ways, but I do not fully like follow that. I'm more of a natural witch. I'm more of a nature witch. I like to do spells and things to help. I don't do black magic. I do white magic. I help, and things like that. So I could talk to you about a lot of things, and I'd be more
Oh
than
yeah.
happy to come up on another
Yeah.
show and talk to you about my witchcraft and whatever else you want me to do.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I want to do a whole show on like I'll have tons of questions because uh, you know I'm not going to get into it, but I know there's the dark side, there's the light side, and a lot of people will tell you you can't do the bad because you'll have the, but it's both equal. I think it depends on who the person is doing it. But anyways, we'll do a whole
When people say that, that is we'll do that on another, and I'll explain it to you, because it isn't. You know, dark and light power is equal, okay? And you, as a witch,
Yes.
even though I'm a white witch, you can't use one energy without the other. It needs to be both, even though you're not using it in a negative way. You know, you have to have
Right.
energies to be able to make the magic move. I'll explain that when I come on next time.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, because there was a guest. I'm trying to remember her name on Art Bell many years ago. It wasn't Sylvia Brown. It was who was the natural witch that he had on. Do you have any idea, or you don't know what I'm talking about? Cherry, no.
Who, me?
Yeah. Do you know who I'm
The
talking about? Do
natural
you
witch?
know
Who?
Art? Do you know of Art Bell? No.
Art Bell. I've not heard very much about that.
Okay,
No.
then don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I'll get her name, but she was a natural witch, and she talked about the light and the dark, and how pretty much any practicing witch can do either or. And
Yeah.
anyways, we'll get
Okay.
into it another time. But this story. I mean, you said the one girl in this story that in the house was beginning, you saw signs of possession through her. Was there ever
Yes.
an exorcism done? Did you do something?
I had
Did
to
you do
go
the
in and do the exorcism and the cleansing, and then I had to go around and do a binding around the house, putting stones and stuff into the ground that I'd blessed and cleansed.
Okay.
Obviously, having to use things like sandalwood, frankincense, and myrrh, coals, red bricks. There were so many different materials that I had to use for that, as well as using the blessing water and stuff as well. Bible, I do use the Bible, even though I believe in like my witchcraft, I do believe in God in a way as well. I use quite a few different faiths. I don't believe in one faith.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was 14 hours of constant fighting is all I'm going to say to you, and cleansing and doing rituals. There was signs being put up. There was a death sign that was put up on the window with my initials in it by the energy. That's yeah. So
Wow,
it
this
was
case
already
sounds
warning
insane.
for what was going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, no, this case sounds very
It was
uh
very serious, and it took
yeah,
it did take 3.5 months to put everything together so that I had everything ready to go up there, because it wasn't just to go in there, do a bit of sage and it's done. This was a 14-hour
right.
battle, and we had to use so many different things to be able to get rid of it. We had to first weaken the spirit to the
Right.
level that he couldn't fight back the way that he was. On top of that, having to then remove him. But before doing that's when he took me over, because he was trying
Mm,
to gain more power again. He was trying to get his power back, so he took me over through me going out of the loft. But it didn't
yeah.
work, because obviously by then they'd used the cross and everything. They were exorcisming me to get him out, so that weakened him. So from that, we done the last part of the ritual, which is where we used like salts and candles. We were doing ritual chance and that to get rid of him. It was full scale crazy,
Yeah.
is all I can say.
So,
But we did do what we had to do, and we did get rid of him. And that is most
okay.
definitely. I don't scare very easily in the paranormal, but that did scare me. That did.
So that's got to
I
be
feel
one of
more at home with spirit than I do with the living. I'd rather be around a dead person than a living person.
yeah, but not this time, definitely. Was that the
That
scariest
time,
case
no.
you were ever on? Was that the scariest case you were ever on?
I would say that is my most scariest. Like I said, I don't really scare very easily when it comes to the
Yeah.
paranormal. If you see me moving really quickly, it's because my spirit guide said you need to go. Like, don't entertain him tonight. You're not ready, or don't entertain tonight. Like, because you've got to be in the right energy, and you've got to be strong enough to be able to take that energy on. That's why when I'm investigating and things like that, if I don't feel well or anything like that, I will not do anything paranormal wise, because it's very easy for them to attach to you, and it's very easy to bring something home. So I am very clued up that I would not go out if I'm not feeling 100%. Same as I would not do my card readings and things like that if I
Yeah.
was not well. It's all about energy
Gotcha.
and being safe.
Yeah. Well, Horror Junkie, thank you, thank you, thank you for the $20 super chat. I did see that. Much love to you. I really, really appreciate that. Really cool stuff. Yeah, you kind of threw me off here, Sherry. Like I said, I've been looking for somebody for the longest time. I hope you understand how serious I am, that I really want to talk to you about the witchcraft, side of things.
Of course,
So
yep.
I
And
don't know what
witchcraft
the
is
best.
very serious to me.
Yes, yes. Oh, well, and to me too. And uh, people don't understand how powerful of a thing it actually is. And that's why I just really want somebody on to go in depth on a lot of different things dealing with witchcraft. But what is the best way to get a hold of you? I mean, I could always give you
You can
my
get hold of
email.
you can get hold of
Okay.
me on my I have. Do you have Facebook?
I do have Facebook. Yes.
You could get me under Sherry Brett. So SHEII and then Brett BRETT, and you'll see a picture with me with my hair down and I've got my head kind of to the side, sort of thing. You should be able to tell
Okay.
by the
Okay.
picture that it's me anyway.
Okay. Brit as in BRITT.
No, BRE, E for elephant, TT.
Okay. Okay, Brett. Okay, Sherry Brett. Okay, I will definitely reach out to you, because I definitely gotta get you back on the show.
Feel free to
The,
reach out to me whenever you want to do that, and just tell me a
will
day
do.
that you would like me to come up, and I will more than happy come up. Just give me plenty of notice, because I am a very busy lady and I
Oh
do
yeah,
help a lot of people out in lots of different ways. But
of course,
I am more than
of
happy to
course,
come up and answer your questions for you.
of course, of course. No, I got into the paranormal very seriously. Looking for a lot of answers with life and death, and what happens when we pass on, the whole, everybody wants to know, right? And then you start getting involved and you start finding out that, okay, there's more out there than just life. You know what I mean? There really is the paranormal. There's spirits,
There
there's
is, there
demons,
is, and
there's people.
to everyone, because I find that there's a lot of negativity around, to the point where that a lot of people will be very down on people that are into the paranormal and that, and they expect you to be stereotypical and be. Every investigator is different. Everybody works differently. Everybody does things differently, and it's the same as a witch. No witch works the same either. What might work for one might not work for another. We all do things very differently. There is no wrong or right to be a way to be a witch. There is no wrong or right way to be an investigator, in my opinion. The only things you need to learn is have the knowledge, have the respect, and be sensible. That's all I say. The rest of it, you
Yeah,
can't go around and say if somebody's right or wrong in something, because none of us 100% understand the paranormal, and none of us
exactly.
crafters. We're learning as we go along.
Right,
So
exactly. Yeah, and Paul B, I do see you popping in. Just stay there. Hold on a few. I do still want to talk for a couple here, but no, Sherry, I am an empath. I do feel things. I get a very, how can I say this? I truly believe in what you're saying, and I feel it. Okay. And it's weird that you just popped in here like this. So there's some weird thing going on where I've been looking for a long
well,
time. Then
I
all of a
was like
sudden,
I was sitting talking to Coffin Crew. That's what I was doing, and he
yes,
was like, "Oh, and this chat spam that I go into," and that's just
yeah,
popped up. I hadn't seen him on for a while, so he was
yeah,
like, "Why don't you come over?" And so he told me the name, and I come over, and I believe that everything happens for a reason. There's
right.
reasons to why
Same
people are
here.
supposed to meet. I
Yes,
absolutely believe that,
yes, yes. So,
and
so,
yeah, I'm really glad
oh,
that I did
oh,
come up.
yes, yes. Well, one real quick thing before I let you go. I would like to know, so, because you described that case in such detail, and we could have gone on and way more in depth on that, but you just popped on to talk for a little bit. I don't want to keep you forever. But the Ouija board thing, after all of that happened, I take it that you really, what are your feelings on that? Because I believe that if you do things correctly, you can still use a Ouija board, right? Or am I
Like
totally
for
just 100% wrong?
me, I
Hmm.
am very, I really do not like Ouija boards. And I say to anybody that says about them, do not entertain them, do not play with them. I have never touched an Ouija board in the way of playing with it.
Okay.
One of my ex-partner, when I was with him, he actually bought an Ouija board from the witch fair and brought it home to my home. When we broke up, he didn't take it. I have the Ouija board under my bed, never been played with, never had anything done with it. It was brand new, nothing attached to that because it's never had the placket on it. And that will stay with me till the day I die. And I will make sure that if I know that I'm dying or something's going to happen to me, I'll make sure I get rid of that by burying it or something. You never break it, you never burn it. You need to bury it, put salts and things over it, and keep it out of the way that way. That will never go into the hands of anybody else. To anybody that says I want to start on the Ouija board, it's really up to you if you want to, okay, guys. But I would recommend to you not to, and especially
Okay.
not if you don't understand these things, okay, because they're dangerous and they can bring some very
Right.
negative and very evil energies through. And I don't believe that the Ouija board is communicating with your loved ones like it says. I believe that the Ouija board is a key to the dark side. I believe that is where the dark energies come through.
Really? Okay. So you definitely
Yeah.
think there's no way of reaching out to any, and I get that. I get that. It's just kind of like this kind of portal to whatever the
Yeah,
other
I'm not being
side.
like, to me, like normal energy will come to you normally, okay? Normal spirit, happy
Right.
spirit, anything like that will come to you normally. I've had that experience all my life, okay?
Hmm.
So I've worked on that. But with negative energy, I'm not saying they can't come into your life, but it's very difficult to come into your life. And there's normally a very good reason to why they're there. And it's always normally bit through summons them or doing something to bring them through. And I have, in my opinion, through some of the cases that I've been in, a lot of the negative stuff that's happened has been due to the Ouija boards,
Right. Right.
not anything
But-
else with the Ouija boards. So that's why I say don't touch them,
No, I
because
gotcha.
in some
Yeah.
cases it can be that dangerous. People have ended up being killed by using Ouija boards and things
Yeah.
like that. It's not worth it.
No,
It's not.
I get what you're saying. It's a question I like to throw out there because again, people have different opinions on using a Ouija board. They say
Oh, they do.
if
I've
you do,
got people that say that they've had really
yeah,
positive outcomes using the Ouija boards and that. But I like, just because I've personally never seen anything good come from the Ouija board, that's why I say what I'm saying. I'm not saying that if any of you guys go and do it, something bad's going to happen. It could be different for you. But in my
right.
opinion, I would say to anyone, don't touch it, and don't do it if you don't know what you're doing. You
Well,
know what I mean?
right. When
Because
you Yeah, when you're using an instrument such as a Ouija board or whatever, like you said, you can summon your loved ones, spirits. You can reach out just by dreaming, by just sitting there and meditating. So there's many
that's what
different
I'm
ways to do
saying.
that.
But why would I know that it's like a talk? It is a way of talking. I know it is, and I think that is why a lot of people do it, because they do think that they are communicating with the good side. They don't realize what they're actually communicating with, and a lot of these energies will portray as being your parent or being your auntie or being whoever, because they're trying to get into your realm. So that is the
Right.
easiest way to do it. Yes, it's me. Yes, it's mum. Yes, it's dad. And people are going to fall for that. You know what I mean? So,
Oh
but
yeah,
for me,
yeah.
because I've seen it from a negative perspective. I will
Hmm.
never entertain an Ouija board. Never.
No, no. I got you
So
100%. Again, the Ouija board, you're just opening it up for anything to come through. Whereas if you're
yeah,
doing it like in a meditative
it's a
state or a
doorway.
dream,
It's a
you're
doorway. That is what it is.
yes,
And maybe there
yes,
are people that communicate with good spirit on it. I can't say 100% if it doesn't let good spirit through,
right.
because I've only ever experienced it in a negative way. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So,
Well, and you got to think of the
I
percentage of
say
yeah,
aim it in, do it at your own course. You know what I mean? If you're going to do that, be
right.
prepared. That's all I'm saying. Because I can't tell you 100% that you're going to get something good come through, because I've only experienced negative. I'd be very
Yeah.
weary. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, yeah. Instruments kind of amp up the energy level too. So
Yes,
it
they
brings
do. They feed them the energy and as along with like electricity and stuff. If you're sitting in a room and you've got an Ouija board out, you've got your lights and your candles, this all gives energy to these spirits. You know what I mean? So you're feeding them. So when you're communicating and you're doing that, are you this? Are you that? You're feeding them because you're giving them your energy as well as what you're putting through the board. So
Right.
think
But
wisely is what.
being a witch, you're telling me that, or you just don't want to. But are you telling me that there are no precautions or things you can do to protect yourself while
But to
using a
be
Ouija
quite
board?
honest, there is, like, literally, when you've got an Ouija board, there is a prayer thing that's on the back. You can read the prayer that's on the back. You do that before, you do that after. You'd light things like candles, you would put protection things out like crystals and stuff like that. There are precautions what you can do to keep yourself safe, but it's not 100% that it can. Okay, it really does depend on what you're communicating with. Okay. A lot of people will sit there and say, oh, well, if you put crystals and stuff like that out, you know, demonics and actually, yes, they can. Demonics are one of the most strongest spirit, and some of them you can't get rid of, and some of them you can't use anything to get rid of them. So, you know, to me, through my experiences of negative stuff happening, I would not do it. Not just because of that, but because of my spirituality and because of how open I am. I don't want anything attaching to me because I'm already open enough. I don't feel I need to use an Ouija board because, in my say, I'm pretty much like an Ouija board myself. I have communication daily. I feel energy around me daily, things like that. I don't need to use that sort of utensils. The only things I'll use are things like spirit boxes and stuff like that because I trust them more than I do an Ouija board.
And why is that though? Like the spirit box is technically a tool, and it kind of works along the same lines of a Ouija board. Although
it does, it does. But in my opinion, there are things built into the spirit boxes so that it's used and made in a different way. So it communicates. Like you're always going to have risk of communicating with good or bad that you go through. I feel that the Ouija board is not for the light. It's only darkness. Where with the spirit box or spirit apps, anything like that, you can get both energies. Yes, it is very much using the Ouija board, but I trust that because I've viewed time. I've had my experiences with them, and I have not experienced negativity using them boxes the way that an Ouija board would do. So, and I put my protection in place. To me, protection is a very important thing when you're doing investigating or any sort of spiritual work. Protection is everything. So I've not had bad experiences with my spirit apps and spirit boxes, and only what I've seen people do on the Ouija boards.
Gotcha. Boy, I could continue to keep talking with you for a long time, but you know, if you're good on it, I mean, I don't know, you got somewhere to go, or you want to give another 15 minutes or so? I mean,
I can give another 15 minutes if you want to talk. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, let me know. Throw out another case. Anything, you know, that stands out
recently, actually, I put because I work for two companies. Okay, I have a company that I'm part of called Bold and Bonkers. Now they work in everything from researching paranormal into ufology and all that, and I'm also part of another company as well that's known as PD, which are also into paranormal and anything of the strange and the unknown. Just recently,
so you're like all over
where
the
I
place,
caught a UFO on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm very much respected in the paranormal field, and I have educated and helped a lot of people, and they really like my work. So a lot of them run after me for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. They like you. They say that I'm very acknowledgeable. They find me very interesting. A lot of people say that I pull them in with my energy. I pull them in, and I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, you do.
Oh, you
like,
got
you're just really educational.
Yeah, you got an energy about you. That's without a doubt. So
that might be my spirit guide you're picking up on as well, though. She's quite a powerful one. She's an elemental.
Okay.
And
always around?
Aura. Oh, yeah, she's been with me before. There was a reason to why I got her through an experience my mum had, because my mum was like me when she was younger, but she had a bad experience. So she gave it up. And that gift has been gifted onto me.
Would you like to talk about that? Or is that something you wouldn't want to talk about?
If you want to hear it, really, like she wasn't as open as what I was, but she was with this fella that was
Mm-hmm.
really into anything to do with the occult and anything to do with magic and stuff with spirits. And
Okay.
one day he decided to play in a Ouija board. Okay,
Oh, geez.
my
Okay.
mum become possessed
Mm.
energy, and he had to help get rid of this energy. When that happened, well, what happened at first? She was sitting on the bed, he was playing with the Ouija board, and she was watching him and that, and she see this dark cloaked figure walk up the stairs, clear as day, just like I'm looking at you. She goes, that's all she remembered is seeing him. He had red eyes, he had no features to his face, and it took her over. Okay. When she come round, because she'd done something to help her come back out, it scared her that much that she gave up doing all of her card readings. She wouldn't touch her pendulums anymore. She wouldn't do anything to do with spirits anymore. And she had some witch friends that she was in communication with, and she'd said that she'd been feeling a bit weird since having that encounter, and they said that there is an energy around you and you need protecting. So they summoned Aurora, which is the elemental, to look after her. But in the process of that happening, she found out that she was pregnant, and they said that you need to come back when she's at a certain amount of months, and you need to come back to us, and we need to do that blessing over you so that your firstborn is protected. And she goes, why does my firstborn need to be protected? And she goes, because your firstborn's gifted, and that energy is going to follow her if we don't.
Okay.
And so my mum went back, she had this ritual done, and Aurora become attached to me. So when I was a little girl, I was about 5 years old, I was in a cot. That was the first time I ever see her. She put her hand out to me and I touched her, and from that day we've been connected. I see through her eyes, she sees through mine. That's just how it is. Like,
what does she look like?
Anything I do, she's there as a protector.
Yeah.
Say that again.
When she reached out to you, did you just see light? I mean, what did she look like?
No. Figure. It's a female, like or like
okay,
very pale skin, very very long dark hair, and she's got like twigs and leaves that come out of her hair and out of her head, because obviously she's elemental. She shows in a human form, and she will also show in an elemental form. So she'll show us like some sort of, she'll look like a tree, but not a tree, if you get what I'm saying. Like, she'll disguise herself as being part of nature, but when she wants to interact with
part of the earth
or interact with me, she'll do it in a human form, but you can still see the branches head and things. She's very beautiful, but very powerful, and she's also known as the fire element. She's a fire element.
Okay.
So she likes fire and stuff like that.
Okay.
Where
very
I'm
cool.
an earth element. So I go really well with her because she's fire and I'm earth. We
bond. Yes. Very cool. Very cool. Because I don't know if a lot of people understand what elementals technically are. You want to explain?
Elementals are a spirit energy that some like to say that they're not uniform, but they look like it when you see them. Sometimes they will show either as that, or they'll show as some sort of creature of nature and stuff. Okay. They are pretty much, they're actually a nature bound spirit. Okay. They're spirits that are attached to certain elements of nature. So earth, water, fire and air. You've got air elementals, you've got earth elementals, which would be what things like the wind elements will be, or the water elementals will be, things like that. There are so many different types out there. There's water elementals, there's wood elementals, there's leaf elementals, there's so many different things. They're literally based creatures that are attached to nature. They are not of a they're not of a human form, but they can show as a human form. They haven't been living. They are a spirit being of the other side, and they're attached to nature. That is where they come from.
Okay, very cool. And thank you again, RTN, for your super chat there. I really do appreciate it, Denny. You having a fire elemental, does that help with some of your spells that have to do with candle burning or other
Oh yeah,
such things like?
oh yeah.
Okay, I mean, I would
To be honest,
figure,
she
but
helped
yeah.
with a lot of my spells just because she's a fire elemental. She can help with a lot of things. She can do she's a very, very old energy. She has been here for thousands of, not a couple of hundred of years. She's been here for thousands of years. They're very old energies. They are energies that were formed when Earth was formed. Okay, they are here for a reason. And like, you get people that say, oh, why would you be communicating with an elemental? They're meant to be dangerous and evil. No, they're not. There is good and bad in everything, and it really depends on how much of an understanding you have of that spirit and how long you've been together. When I first come into communication, I had to build a relationship with her, just as she did with me. We needed to understand each other. Like,
Right.
before, she wouldn't be able to stand too close to me because it'd feel like I was being burnt or being like burnt alive. But now, as I've got older and I've got more used to it, I'm used to it now. You know what I mean? But she
Yeah.
helps me in a lot of my spells. I will normally call Aura quite a lot when I'm needing a spell that really needs to be enhanced. She will come in because she's got the fire. She's got that, like, she'll make it happen,
Right.
sort of thing, you know. So
Yeah.
she's very interesting, but a lot of people
No.
misunderstand these energies. They do.
Oh yeah, yeah. Again, that's why I wanted you to explain it a little bit, because I don't think people, they tend to jump to spirit. It's just a spirit. That's it. But yes,
No,
they've been around since.
elementals are not spirit. They are nature bound creatures. Yeah, they would be classed easier to say that it's a spirit, but it's actually a creature of nature. That is what they are. They
Right.
are
Right.
some sort of alien form. Okay, they are an alien form of Earth. That's what they are.
Interesting take. Okay. Very cool. Um, oh boy. Okay. So really quick, I know I keep saying that, but it's very interesting talking to you. But you also deal with other things too in the paranormal field. Have you come across
UFOs.
anything, UFOs, any type of creatures such as the Bigfoot monsters, things that.
I do believe in them, but I can't say that I've actually seen a Bigfoot. But I did have, and I went to Sherwood Forest in Nottingham, where I found
Okay.
this massive wooden hut thing that was built in the middle of the woods. I don't know what it was, and I went inside it and I sat in there and I was doing EVPs and stuff like that, and I heard this mighty scream, like a loud, high-pitched scream. There was all these stones being thrown from the trees. There was things going on. I was like, and I know that the signs of when a Bigfoot's meant to be around. Okay, and I thought, this is strange. I've never experienced it to this extent,
Yeah.
and I could feel something come up behind the wood bit that I was in, but it
Hmm.
must have been that big because it made the floor that it landed on. I do believe that that may have been an encounter with a Bigfoot, but I didn't get to see it because by the time I'd got out of
Right.
the hut to go around to try and find it, was gone.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
believe are dimensional creatures. They can actually disappear and go into other dimensions. I don't believe they just stay in the woods. They can do things to
I,
physically
I'm
disappear.
I'm right along
Where
with you. Yes.
there isn't very many sightings of them. It's very rare to see them.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. That's why you get, uh, f- you know, tracks that stop in the middle of
Yes.
nowhere and it's just
Yep.
gone. You know what I mean?
I believe they
Uh,
either go into another dimension or they turn into some creature. I do believe that they can shapeshift. They could either turn into an animal where you wouldn't be able to see where they've gone, or they can go into another dimension. That's what I believe.
Interesting. But yes, I'm right on the same
And I've
page
had a
with you
UFO
there.
experience as well. About 2 weeks ago, phone on my phone. I've actually got it up on one of the channels. It's 3 dots and it was moving around, and you see it moving, and that's got over 1,000 views on the channel on YouTube. It's a Paranormal Unknown, which is one of the channels that belong to one of the group teams that I'm part of. Paranormal
Okay.
Unknown. If you go on there is a 1 minute something video, and you
Hmm.
see this object. It's absolutely amazing. And there's
Okay.
also a video on there where I caught one of my fairy energies, because I don't know if you believe in fairies, but they are real. They do
Oh yeah, yeah.
exist. They're
No.
just not the way that you can see. You actually see an energy with wings go up above me that looks like a spirit. It's on the same channel as the UFO one, so you'll see both videos.
Okay. Yeah, no. I'm very much into it. I have a story from when I was a kid, and I'd like to hear your take on it. Because I do believe that any kind of energy, whether you're a child, an adult, uh, whatever, can take the form of anything. And me and my uncle
Oh
were
yeah,
sitting playing. I was about 10, 11, somewhere around there, years old. And it's going to sound funny, but again, I think that any energy can take the form of anything. Uh, there were
yes, it can, yeah.
woods in the back, and we were on the floor. We were playing, and the bathroom was off to the left. And I looked over as my uncle flicked the coin, because we were playing a game, who can get closest to the wall with the quarter, and it was like 2 a.m. But I look over, and you know what I seen poking out from, just look out from the corner of the door, was a little gnome with the red hat, the green vest, just like you would see it in a cartoon. Okay.
Oh wow.
I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, why would I see a gnome like that? That's just, a fairy tale. You know what I mean? But it peeked back real quick. It was like a split second. And I told my uncle, I'm like, Gino, man, do you see that over there? He's going, no, I don't see nothing. And then as soon as I said that, it booked it, like from there behind the toilet. It just ran, and you could see it. It was like 6 inches, somewhere around there. It took off behind the toilet, and then it just
Really?
disappeared. Really small. Yes. And to this day, I mean, I know it
Right,
happened.
there
I
are
know
no,
I
but
seen it. And I'm thinking, if
there are
it's, is it,
there are fairy energies and stuff that will that there is like you've got fairies, you've got box feet fairies, you've got so many different sorts of fairies. You've got really tall, you've got medium, and to me that sounds like you may have seen some form of the thing is people
and you
always
think
portray
it just,
that they look human and they're just tiny, but they don't. They can look different. Some of them look like things that you wouldn't expect, and sometimes they will show as something that they think that you want to see. Instead of showing you as a natural fairy, they may be done as incubate them and stuff. But you're not really going to ever see a gnome running around, sweetheart. To be quite honest, a gnome's not really known in the paranormal field, so you're more than likely seeing some form of fairy or
100%. I mean, that's kind of exactly what I thought.
some elemental energies can be very small as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, I figure that they can, take
Very
the
interesting.
shape of whatever they want. But I tell you,
And
it
they
wasn't
can, like
a 6-inch
fairies,
gnome.
any sort of spiritual energy form can take form. Like you must hear about, like, sometimes that demonic spirits will show us kids, like little girls and boys. They're not little girls or little boys, they're actually something really bad. Normal spirits, normal living spirits can make themselves look like shadows, make themselves look scary. It really depends on what they want to do with, the situations that they're in. So they disguise themselves like something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're an actual energy, and an energy never dies, and an energy never stops moving, and an energy can be anything it wants to be. So why would a spirit not be
Right.
able to be? That's how I look at it.
Exactly. Oh yeah, no, I agree
Yeah.
with you. Okay, so yeah, man, thank you so much, Sherry, for jumping on here with me
You're very
and
welcome.
talking.
Just
And
message
and
me
and
on
I
Facebook,
will.
and I'll come up again with you, and we'll have an even longer talk, and you can go in depth and ask me anything you want. But for now, so you can keep talking to your guys in the room. I hope that I've entertained you guys and you've enjoyed my stories, and
Oh
thank
no,
you for
yeah.
having me up.
Thank you. I will
And
be
thank
in
you,
touch.
Coffin, for bringing me in here.
Yes, Coffin Crew. Hey, listen, Sherry, we got a lot of different. I don't know if you're in old time radio, like sometimes I've got spooky horror nights all night long. They play from the 30s, 40s, and stuff like that. Old mystery shows, old horror shows, some detective shows, but there's a lot of cool stuff on the channel, not to mention horror movie reviews and stuff. It's a very interesting channel. But anyways, I will be in touch. Thank you very much for coming on here with me, and we'll talk soon, okay?
You are very welcome. And I have supported to you anyway, so I will be coming back because I do actually like this channel. So I'll definitely keep an eye out on what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You too.
Right, how
Much
do
love
I
to you.
drop out? Sorry, this is a new one for me.
Yeah,
I
I'll
normally
take you.
do StreamYard.
Yeah, I'll take you off screen, and then you could figure out. You should be able to just jump off. So thank you again, Sherry. Okay, there you go. So she's off. There's Sherry. Oh my God. So it's weird how things kind of work out. Um, since the beginning of this, like 7 years ago, I have always wanted to get a real practicing witch to talk about a lot of different things that I'm interested in. Um, being that I don't talk about this much, people have watched my paranormal show and stuff like that know that I'm an empath. There's lots of things inside of me that I try to, over the years, contain, be careful with. I mean, from astral traveling to I swear when I fall asleep at night, I enter a different place. So anyways, very, very interesting. It was awesome talking to her. And I guess if anybody else wants to jump on real quick, if you don't, yeah, I'm going to have to hit that YouTube later too. But I do got a story from when I was a kid, and take this as you will. I could be a kid who was just, this was supposed to be trivia night, but hey, this is the way I love it. It's old school, just like Art Bell used to do it. If you guys know Art Bell, and whatever happens on a paranormal show happens. That's why the key thing with me is if there's somebody out there in the chat who has a story or is involved or whatever, pop on the channel, share the story, because that's what this channel is all about. You know what I mean? To share what you know. And for everybody to just take and ponder, what you've listened to, like RTN's story at the beginning of the stream, it's like he's seen with what seems to be two very real UFOs. What they are is it our government? Is it, I mean, this has been going on for decades, half a century, really, the black triangles. And you wonder, is it from someplace else? Is it interdimensional? Is it from the government? Who the heck knows? But on to my story. Let me tell you a story. You guys are going to go, what? You guys, you're nuts, Dino. You're crazy. But listen, I was a kid. And again, this all revolves around my grandparents. And at the Lately Horror Show, this show took on a life of its own. It worked out beautifully, says RTN. Yes, yes. I picked on something. I felt the energy from Sherry. It just, I felt it. And that's how you know that somebody's real. I've interviewed plenty of people who I didn't feel a darn thing with. So it's just the way it goes. That's life, right? You don't know the intentions of some people. And if you have a gift to be able to feel that energy, then it's a special thing. And it is something that I do feel. And sometimes to the detriment of the whatever it is that allows me to be an empath, because there's sometimes where the negative energy, the sadness that somebody's feeling, the healing that somebody's trying to do, if I'm close to them, I feel that, and it doesn't feel good. It's caused, there's things that people with that special gift have to endure in life. And I've endured quite a bit in life through that. And it's only the past few years that I'm really trying to come to grips with how to contain it and how to block out that negative and keep the positive. And there's many things I do to do that. And one of them is pulling the light from the earth, pushing it through my body and out through the head. flowing it back up and pushing it back out. That's a cleansing that I do, and it's something that's worked, and it's worked for me. So let me get to my spooky story before the show is over. I know Paul B was trying to get on, but he kept popping in, popping out, popping in, popping out. So I don't know, maybe if you were having an internet issue, but Paul, the link's there if you do got a story. Really quick before I end the show tonight. But anyways, okay, is this Paul? Let's see. I hear it. Mr. Paul B. Hello, are you there, Paul? Paul? Come.
Hello?
Yes, Paul. What's going on?
Is that you, Dino?
It is me. And this is
No
Paul.
way. I finally got through. That is awesome.
Yes, I'm glad you got through. I saw that you were going back and forth, and I'm like, oh, yeah. But I had to keep Sherry going. I really wanted to.
No, she was great. That was awesome.
She was. But you got a story then, huh?
I do.
Okay.
And I'll try to share it with you the best I can. I don't share it with many people, but
Oh, Paul. Yes, Paul. See, that's what's happening. You kept falling out. Oh, and you don't share with many people, and you were going to share it with me. And try jumping back in again. Definitely try jumping back in. The link is there, so come back. RTN, the healing energy from the empathic crowd in this chat is very real. Trust me, I've felt it myself. I pushed RTN. I pushed. Hello back, Paul B. Hopefully you stick around. Might be the internet connection. I don't know, but hopefully, can you hear me?
hello?
Yes. Continue, Paul, before we lose you
I'm
again.
so sorry. This connection
right.
keeps breaking up, and I don't want to ruin the story.
Yeah. Well, try the best you can. If you break up, pop back in again. But we'll continue right where you left off. So go.
All right. So I'm from a small town in Indiana, southern Indiana. We lived so far out in the country that we used to have to ride our bikes 6 miles one way to buy a Coke. So out in the
Okay.
country, you learn to entertain yourself.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. Can you guys hear me all right now? Tracy says, Dino, your audio is weird right now. Hopefully it's better now. I can't go out and come back in. So hopefully can hear you. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Am I good? Am I good, you guys? Okay, I'm going to try it one. We'll try this one more time, Paul. One more time. Go ahead. Continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but you may fall out. If you fall out this time, don't come back because I don't think it's going to work, but try to get it in. Go ahead. Paul.
Hey, Dino, perhaps I can send you the story.
Yeah, I'll read it. Yes, if you want to do that, you can guarantee the next Thursday I'll read it for you. Okay,
And
bud?
will that be on the Patreon where I should leave it? Or how would you like me to leave it?
You can email me it. You can do it on Patreon. Yeah. So Paul B, that's a mess. There's no connection that's allowing this to happen. So definitely send it to me wherever you want. I would love an audio version. If you could tape record it. What is this? 1975? What's this? I'm going to let him back in again. Here we go. Is this 1975? I'm going to tape record it. Listen, Paul, if you're able to record it on your computer and email the voice file to me, please do that. I'd rather your voice than you typing it out and me reading it because I'd like to hear your voice.
All right. Absolutely. It shares the emotion. Exactly.
So yes. If you're able to do that, which I think every computer has a voice recorder, please email it to me and I will play it on the air. That would probably be the best thing to do.
Well, thank you so much, Dino. It's actually a pleasure talking to you.
You
And
too.
I really look forward to the review that you and Ginger are going to do
Yes,
on
just to
Bad
kill.
Moon.
Yes, just to kill. Okay, thank you very much, Paul. And I appreciate I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being part of this late virtual family and everything that we've grown here. Hell, I just got the email today. Let's see what did it say. Let me give you these. Last month we got 1,387 new subscribers, 709,000 views, and 56.8 million minutes watched or listened. So there you go. A little proud of that. So very, very cool. Tracy Asteria, there's the email. Paul, if you see it there, xenomedia2020 at icloud.com. You can send everything there. And I got 10 minutes. I think I can get, sure, I already sent you a friend request on Facebook. Well, that's good because I'll be able to see mutual. I'm sure I'll find Sherry on Facebook. But anyways, let me hurry up. I got 10 minutes to tell my story. I'm telling it because it's kind of scary and spooky. Something horror movies are made, but I was very, very young. Okay, and this is a story that I don't know if I made more out of it than it is. It probably did. It was probably my imagination running a bit wild at this point, and I'll admit it when it is. But I was a very small kid, and again, this was in my grandparents' house. It was in the same house that we saw the shadows on the wall, the residual hauntings, because that figure that would walk in that hallway or closet in my uncle's room, 11 p.m. on the dot, split second, would walk in there. Uh, you know, the coldness of tons of stuff happening in this house. We lived upstairs. My grandparents lived downstairs. Okay, and there was a basement. And it was a really old basement, and my grandparents really never put anything down. There was just stuff everywhere. One night, I decided to. Me and my uncles were always playing. It was a big Italian family. My grandma, 13 kids. I'm the oldest son. But I was down there with my uncle. We were playing at the floorboards on the main level. We saw this hole as we were playing. I don't know what we were doing at the time, but we were on the ground playing. And I remember hearing something, as I often did in that house. I would hear something. And it took me over to the corner of the floor, and there was a little hole, maybe the size of not a nickel, but a dime, very, very small hole, but enough for a kid to peek in. Okay, and the hole went straight down to the basement. And this section of the basement was all concrete, and it was concrete floor. And I think my grandfather had some tools over in that area. But I looked down the hole because I was curious. And I looked down and I saw it was hard to see at first, but I saw shadows moving back and forth. Nobody was down there. My grandpa was at work. But there were shadows like kind of moving back and forth. Things were moving around. And again, this was a very haunted house. My grandparents, especially my grandmother, really brought that kind of energy with them. Every house they moved to was haunted. So that's why I think there was something to it, although it could have been my imagination. But I looked down there, I seen that, I saw that. And then for a good 5 seconds, it turned from shadow to an actual being, a person, moving around down there, shuffling the tools that my grandfather had on the thing. It was no belief. But through the hole that I wish I wish I could do this justice. As I was looking down, I see the body, I see skin, I see hair, and it was just moving back and forth underneath this hole. And it was like the change of the instruments and stuff. I heard a little bit things you could make out, things you could make out. And I asked my uncle, "Come on over here. Come on over here. Look down the hole. Look down the hole. Look down the hole." And he looked down the hole, and poof, it was done. It was gone. Nothing, no more. Um, and he goes, and I went to go look again after he walked away, and I'm like, and I saw nothing. I saw nothing. Again, uh, throughout my life, I've become, I'm an empath. Lots of other things. Everything that went on in that house, I could feel. I pick up on their energy very, very well. And whether that was oh boy, what would you call it? Something was going on there, but it was something horror movies are made of, right? Don't look down little holes in your look down the hole. It was gone. Trogdor. Hey, Trogdor. I did say hi to you. Uh, that's all, folks. It was Night Fright Talk Show. Listen, it sounds like something from a horror movie, but it's an actual experience. And again, it was a great song. But with everything that happened in that household, uh, I don't know. But anyways, I thought it made for a great story, and very, very cool to look down the hole. You see a hole in the floorboards. Do not look down it. But anyways, okay, so no trivia tonight. We'll save it for another night. Let's see. We only heard look down the hole. Really, is my audio breaking up that bad? Dino, I only heard look down the hole. Can everybody hear me? There really is something distorting the microphone, Dino. The one time he's not reading the comments, he didn't hear the story. You gotta be kidding me. It's fine. Thanks for sharing, but we got nothing. You guys didn't hear me at all? Oh, please tell me that the oh boy, that kind of sucks. That's the first time that's ever happened, right? That's the first time that's ever happened. We can't hear you. Let me see if I can come back here. Can you guys hear me now? Oh, no audio. No audio now? Can you guys hear me now? Now can you hear me? We missed the whole thing. I'm hoping it would help, but it didn't. It started freaking out the minute you started sharing. Really? It is broken and robotic. Can you hear me now? That's the weirdest thing ever. I don't think that's ever happened on a paranormal stream. Nope. I almost missed trivia. Tell us the story next paranormal night. Okay. With that said, I'm going to go. Goodbye. Okay. You sound weird, you. Yeah, I'm going to go. We will end the show. I apologize. Oh, weird. Oh my God.